I have a client who comes to me and they want to get approved to purchase a home. And so I pull their credit report and then I go and talk to them and I let them know, look, your credit is bad. You're not going to be able to qualify to purchase a home. So you need to work on your credit. I give him some resources that he can utilize to go and thereby work on his credit. And then he comes back to me and says, well, what if I get a cosigner? What if I have someone else on the loan with me? Would that be something that would help? And so I let him know, look, having them on the loan probably won't help just because your credit is not going to be high enough for them to then put you over the hump. You're still going to be on this side of things where you can't qualify. And then he comes back to me, he says, okay, well, what if I find someone who can qualify for the home, but then I can be on the title to the home so that we both have ownership in the home? Is that something that would be able to help and we can make that work? And I say, well, it depends. So long story short, this person is just knocking on the door, because they are relentless in doing what it takes or trying to find the way to get the door to open so that they can become a homeowner. But I talk to so many people who blame the reason that they don't own a home on the economy. They blame it on housing prices. They blame it on interest rates. They blame it on so many other things. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about something that is bigger than however much home prices cost and everything else. So if you don't have thick skin, this is going to be a really tough episode for you to hear. But I highly recommend that you get thick skin quickly so that you can receive what it is that I'm going to tell you in this episode. If home prices cost $1 million, would you own a home? Some people would say, no, that's way too expensive. Other people would say, absolutely. Maybe they have the capacity to be able to purchase $1 million home. But there are some other people that would be in the balance and say, well, I can't purchase right now, but I'm going to figure out a way to get $1 million home. Those are the people that are most likely to succeed. But the problem is those people in the middle are few. Yes, the people that can easily just afford $1 million home, not talking about those individuals, but most of us fall into the category of people who can't afford $1 million home right now. So we're either in the camp of, no, I can't purchase $1 million home. That's way too expensive. I'm not spending my money that way. A lot of those same people will also spend their money doing a whole bunch of other foolish stuff that's not going to add to the value of their life or the lives of anyone around them. But that's a topic for another episode. But then there's that camp. And then there's the camp of people who are like, you know what, I'm going to figure out what it takes in order for me to be able to purchase this $1 million home. And those people are few. It's very few people that I come across that are in that camp. And it's unfortunate because there's a lot of opportunity out there, but a lot of people who aren't resourceful in doing what it takes to take advantage of that opportunity. A lot of people who aren't looking at creative ways to make things happen. So I will, in giving an example, pull a credit report for an individual. And this is actually something that I've done multiple times. So I'm not talking about just one particular individual. I've pulled a lot of credit reports, and this has been the story that I've had a whole lot of times. So because of your credit and your debt to income ratio, you could qualify for X amount. And X amount is well below what this particular home buyer was wanting to qualify for. And so they're like, oh, I can't find what I want for that price and da 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 da. So it's like, okay, well, you got two options. You can not purchase, or you can purchase in the price range that you can afford. But that's pretty much where we're at. You actually do have a third option in there, and that's the one that I'll talk about a little bit more. So that third option is you can go and figure out what it's going to take for you to get the home that you want. But a lot of people don't take that option. You have some people that purchase what they can afford, which I think is a great option because it gets you started early, building that wealth, building that equity, gets you started on becoming a homeowner, and potentially even earlier than if you had waited having a rental property, because now you have a property that you can rent out after a year and do whatever you want with it and go on and get the next home. So I think that getting what you can afford now is a great option to take. But most of the people are in the camp of, oh, I can't afford right now, or I can't get what I want. I can't afford to get what I want. So thereby, I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and wait for housing prices to come down. I'm going to wait for interest rates to come down. I'm going to wait for the circumstances to become more favorable for me to where now I can hop into the housing market and purchase what I want. The problem is that's never going to come. Those same people end up sitting on the sideline for decades and still never becoming a homeowner, still never achieving the thing that they wanted to achieve. Meanwhile, if you had taken responsibility for your life and your situation in life and said, you know what, I don't care what the economy's doing. I don't care what's happening around me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find a job that's going to pay me so much more than what I'm making right now, so that I can afford to purchase the house that I want to buy. I can afford to live the life I want to live, to take the trips I want to take, to bless the people that I want to bless, to be able to give to people and be able to help build up whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. That's the life that most people aren't pursuing. Most people are like, well, this is the job I work. This is the income I make. It doesn't line up with what homes are costing, as if you're in a dead end situation. You can start looking now and seeing what other opportunities are there for you to get another job. What other opportunities are there for you to maybe branch out and go do your own thing with all of the knowledge and education that you already have. You can go and serve some people on a higher level that's going to make you way more money than what you're currently making at your current job, which might not be valuing you for what you're truly able to bring to the table. But again, most people aren't taking responsibility for their life situation. Most people are blaming the economy, blaming whoever's in DC, and it really doesn't matter who's in DC, because whether there was a Republican or a Democrat that was in the White House, whether the Congress was leaning towards Republican or Democrat, you weren't a homeowner. Your life situation was looking about the same. So, I mean, it does not matter who's in the White House, who's sitting up on Capitol Hill in DC or whatever. What matters is what you do with your life. So like the individual that I started this episode with, telling you about how he wanted to purchase a home, but his credit was bad. So I told him, look, you can go fix your credit, which most people think, okay, most people don't even go and fix their credit. Most people don't do what they need to do to get themselves ready. But he was like, okay, well, what if I go find somebody else and we can get on the loan together? Still not going to work. Okay, well, what if the someone else I find can qualify by themselves, and then I can also be on title, so I have ownership in the home? Okay, well, that may work. Okay, and what if we do, and I'm not going to get too much into their situation, but it was some other steps also that we needed to cross. And he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna work on taking that next step too. And I'm gonna work on doing this other thing. And they were intent on, I'm gonna continue pounding on this door until you tell me what it's gonna take for it to open. I'm not gonna stop pursuing this thing because it's what I want. Melanie Perkins, if you haven't heard of her, she is the CEO of Canva. I think the success behind her story is seen through the journey that she had to take to become where she is, a billionaire of Canva, which is probably one of the most utilized platforms out there, especially for creating a range of things, whether it's creating Facebook posts or posts for any social media platform, really, creating ads, creating flyers. People use Canva for all sorts of things. They've got video functionality now. You can have captioning and everything. I mean, they've got so much stuff that you can do within Canva. But the success, I believe, was in the journey of Canva, in that Melanie Perkins was told no 100 times when she was trying to pitch her idea for Canva, and trying to get money and trying to get funding and trying to get investors and trying to get people to believe in what it was that she had already in her mind was going to be a success. This is going to work. It is going to be huge. It's going to be profitable, and I need you to partner with me. But she was told no 100 times. What if she stopped after 99? What if she stopped short of what she needed to get to in order to be able to start and get Canva off the ground and have the billion-dollar company that she's running now? What if that were her story? That's the story of so many people. They stop short. There's so many people that go through life never having achieved the potential, the full potential of what they could achieve, because they sell themselves short. They end up settling for the job that pays the bills rather than the job that could change the lives of the people around them. They end up settling for the career field or whatever else it is that is well short of their potential, well short of what it is that God's called them to do. They end up settling so far short of that, or they just give up altogether. Some people just say, you know what? It's too expensive. It's not worth it. I hear so many people that make excuses. I've heard this one so many times. You never really own a home because you always have to pay taxes. And if you stop paying your taxes, the government will take your home. So you never really own your home. And I think that is so garbage that is the mindset that people have. Or you never own a home because you're going to have to pay taxes on it. Well, if you want to look at it that way, you don't own anything. I mean, God owns everything, and at any point he can take it from you just like that. So if you really want to take it on a big scale, God owns it all. But if you want to take it even just to an earthly scale, let's say you're not a believer, so we just keep it on an earthly scale for a minute. What is it that you own then? Because you own a car, right? You buy a car, you own a car, but you can't drive that car legally on the road without insurance. You got to have car insurance. And so if you have a car, you're limited in what you can do. So do you really own that car if someone else has to tell you how you can drive it? You got to have insurance to drive it. Or when you put it on the road, hey, you've got to stay in between the lines on this side because that's the side of the road that you drive on. Or you've got to stop at all of these red lights. You've got to stop at all of these stop signs. Oh, that speed limit marker. You can't drive this car faster than what is listed on those speed limit posts. Or we can give you a ticket and we can get money from you if you don't obey the rules and the laws that are in place, right? So thinking about that for a minute, the rules and the laws are in place for a reason. Whether or not you agree with the reason, they're there for a reason. And so you own a car, but do you really own it if you can't drive it and operate it how you want to? It's like, yes, you still own it. You just have to make sure that you utilize it according to the laws of the land. Same thing with owning a home. When you own a home, yes, you pay taxes. If you read your tax bill, you see what those taxes go towards. Some of those taxes go toward fixing the roads that you drive your car on. So the car that you're driving, that you own, some of the taxes that you pay and property taxes go toward the community that you live in. A good portion of those taxes go towards the school system. Whether or not you're a believer in the school system, there are children who are beneficiaries of the school system. And so some of those taxes go toward being able to pay for teachers and other people to educate, being able to pay for police officers who can watch over your children while they're in school to make sure that they're safe. Some of those taxes go toward law enforcement and other government officials or government employees rather, who are providing service to the community. So yes, you have to pay your taxes, but if no one paid taxes, we as a community would not benefit from all of the things of home ownership. So I'm going off in a little bit of a tangent here in driving home that point of, oh, you never really own your home because you have to pay taxes. It's like, oh yes, there's a community here and we're doing this life together. So you own your home, but you also need to contribute to the community. That's like saying you never really own your paycheck because the government's going to take more than half of it in taxes anyways. You're going to get taxed when you earn your check. Before you even get it, the government takes your taxes. They take federal and state income taxes. So that's income taxes you get paid that the government takes before you even get your check. And then when you buy something with the money that you've earned, you got to pay sales tax. And then if the thing that you bought increases in value and you go and sell it, now you got to pay property tax on the thing that you sold. And then it's like the taxes never end. So it's like you pay income tax on the money that you make, you pay sales tax on the things you buy, you pay property tax on the things that you sell, you pay capital gains tax, or rather, when you have things that increase in value, you got to pay capital gains tax on those things. When you die, you pay death and estate tax. There are so many taxes the government's getting. Do you really own anything? And I beg to differ that God owns it all. We are stewards of it. But most people are not stewarding their resources and their time well, which is why they don't have more of it. To him who has, even more will be given, and he who does not, even what he does have will be taken away. Meaning that the people who are stewarding their time well, stewarding their resources well, the people who are taking the opportunity that they have, and they're going to continue knocking at the door and banging at the door. And what is it that I can do to get to here? Those are the people that are going to get there. And then they're not going to just get there. They're going to get far and beyond the people that they have the same opportunity. They have the same resources or lack thereof of resources, but they don't want to be resourceful if they don't have all of the resources. They don't want to go and educate themselves in something. They don't want to figure out what is it going to take for them to accomplish what it is they want to accomplish. They're just going to sit back and wait for the environment to change, to become more favorable for them. So because they're doing that, even what they do have is going to be taken away, to where decades later, the person who pursued what it was that they wanted ended up buying a home, ended up buying multiple homes, ended up buying an apartment building. The person who had the same opportunity to do the same thing but didn't, because they were waiting on the environment to change, that person is now giving what they do have to this person, because now they're renting from the apartment, in the apartment that this person owns. They're renting in the apartment that the person who pursued greatness owns. The person who decided to just wait on the environment and not take responsibility and accountability for their own selves, now they are employees in the business that the person who decided to go after the business, the person who decided to go after doing the thing, they own the business. And now they're employing the person who decided, you know what, I'm gonna just wait for the environment to change. So I want you to just think about that when it comes to your journey in home ownership, but your journey in life in general, because this particular episode expands so much further than just home ownership. Your journey in life is dictated by you mostly, not the situations around you. And yes, there are things and circumstances and situations around you that do affect that journey in life. But there are so many people who, through relentless perseverance, overcame life's circumstances and situations to make something much greater for themselves. Where you're at right now has less to do, especially in 2025, because this is not the 1800s where we've got slavery and everything going on. So where you're at right now in 2025 has less to do with the circumstances and the situation around you, and more to do with the actions that you've decided to take, or the lack of actions that have not been taken to change your life's situation, to turn things around for yourself. So bringing it back to home ownership and putting a bow on this thing. If home ownership is a goal for you and you want to accomplish it, if all homes cost $1 million, are you the person that's going to figure out, well, what is it that I need to do so that I can own $1 million home? If whatever it is that you're aiming to achieve seems out of reach for you right now, are you the person that's going to sit back hoping the environment changes? Or are you the person that's going to say, you know what is it that I need to do so that I can accomplish whatever it is that I want to go after? So that's what I have for you. It's on you. If you want to purchase a home, you want to be a homeowner, it's on you. It's not on your boss, because you can find a different job. It's not on the economy, because you can't dictate home prices. You can't dictate what it costs to build a home. You can't dictate what it costs to purchase one. The people who own the homes sell the homes for whatever price they want to sell them for, or whatever price people are willing to pay. And as long as there's someone that's willing to pay more than what you're willing to pay, then those home prices are not coming down. So in essence, it's on you to change your life and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. So that's what I have for you. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. I know it's been a little bit tougher listening to this one, but I think that this is the most important thing. I talk a lot about credit. I talk a lot about debt and income. I talk a lot about different ways that you, especially on my Home Finance Hacks on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. live on this channel, just a small plug. I talk a lot about ways that you can save hundreds of dollars on your monthly mortgage payment, thousands of dollars a year in interest payments. I talk a lot about the things. However, the most important thing is you. I can give you all of the tools, but if you don't use them, if you don't take responsibility, if you don't go out and say, okay, you know what? I need to go and change my life and make it so great that everyone around me in my sphere of influence is blessed by it. And I have the opportunity to be that blessing to other people. If you don't take those steps, then it doesn't matter how many secrets I give you. And everyone's looking for a secret. Trust me, everyone I talk to. Hey, how do I purchase a home without paying little to no money? Because I have people that come to me all the time with no money, but they want to purchase a home. And most of them don't purchase a home. And a lot of the times it is not because they don't have any money. Believe it or not, a lot of the times it's because they don't have perseverance. They don't have persistence. They don't have resourcefulness. They're not committed to finding a way to make this thing happen, even if it means that in the short term, they purchase something that maybe is not at the top of their buy list. Maybe it doesn't check all the boxes, but it allows them to be able to become a homeowner, serving as a launching pad for them to now be able to live the life that they really want to live. I had someone that commented on one of my social media posts yesterday, I believe it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, where they were mentioning how the first home that they purchased, because I did an episode talking about how the first home that I purchased, I didn't love it. They talked about how the first home that they purchased similarly was not their dream home, but they bought it anyways, kept it, and now they're renting it out as an investment property. And that rental property is paying for the dream home that they're living in now. But yet you're so many people that are focused on, I can't have what I want to have now, so I'm not going to have anything. Your choice what direction you want to go in. But that's what I have for you. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. As I mentioned briefly earlier, make sure you tune in on Tuesdays for Home Finance Hacks. I go live on YouTube every Tuesday at 7 p.m. So tune in live for Home Finance Hacks. I'll be talking about all of the tips, the secrets, the tactics, methods of how you can save hundreds of dollars on your monthly mortgage payment, thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in interest payments and in upfront costs as well. So you definitely want to tune in on Home Finance Hacks, get all those tidbits that are going to help you become a homeowner and use less of your money to do it as well. And as always, join us right back here every Friday. I'm dropping another episode of the Greatest Asset Community Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Take care, be blessed, and we'll see you in the next episode.